Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Game Junk podcast for August 26th, 2025. This is episode number 244, and my name is Sean.
Hold up.
Whoa.
Hold up.
Who's this guy?
I'm taking the show back.
Who's this guy busting in here?
I don't know what these rumors are. Misinformation being spread about stepping down. I'm not stepping down from this show, okay? I feel no shame.
You keep telling yourself that. This guy was crying last week. Couldn't do the show anymore.
Look, I read the comments. People were just so generous and thoughtful and begging for me to come back that I felt like I had to. So I'm back. I'm thinking I'm back. And this is episode 244 of the Game Junk podcast, recording on Tuesday, August 26th, 2025. And my name is Frank, the host of the show.
My name's Andrew.
Sean.
Oh, and my name's Andrew. We're all messed up now.
There we go. And we're back, baby. And we're talking Gamescom opening night live, a Nintendo Direct for August 19th, 2025, featuring Kirby Air Riders. And maybe if we have time, a bit of what we played. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad to be back. I'm ready to pod. Just did a film junk session, now game junk, and I'm fired up.
You are warmed up, I can tell.
Absolutely.
But, there's a big question that I've got to ask, Frank.
Ask away.
Have you beat Donkey Kong Bonanza?
I have not.
My goodness. Gave him an extra week and everything.
I was at the cottage all week last week. I did play.
The Switch 2 is portable. Just gonna point that out.
I had it there. My buddy Gavin, he wanted me to help him with some stuff. And I did play a little bit, but I did not play my own version of the game. So I will get back to it soon. But I think I said this. The Snake Bonanza really took a lot of steam out of that game for me. Have you gotten to that yet, Sean?
No, just got the fourth one.
You're still not there yet?
Like, what layer are we talking?
The Radiance layer?
What number is that?
I think 1200. I'm not 100% sure.
I think I just got to 1000. So
okay, but I still like the game. I need to return to it. I've just been too busy. Like, even when I stepped down from the show, I was in a depressive haze and busy, just wallowing in my depression and sadness and lack of gaming joy. But Gamescom opening night live just knocked me back into the gaming world with like a haymaker punch, and it needs to be discussed. All right, so we're good. We've settled all hash. We're ready to talk.
I suppose it's settled.
Does anything need to be aired out?
If you have questions, you can stay.
Okay, thank you. Well, you didn't kick me off. I left of my own accord, if you remember correctly, Sean.
Well, it's yeah. I mean, it was.
I guess I should actually be at. I mean, we did this outside the show, but should I formally on the show ask both of your permission to return? Would you be okay with that?
I'd be okay with that. Sure.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I think we're okay with that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you to the listeners and for your kind messages of support. And now we're ready to talk about Gamescom opening night live, which, as Mr. Keeley pretty much said in the opening address, it is the new E3. It is the biggest playable gaming festival in the world. And he was hyping it up pretty hard. So
yeah, one thing from his opening spiel that was interesting. I'm pretty sure we talked about, like, last time he was plugging all the indie games that are up there selling, millions of copies or whatever. I'm almost positive we called out that Peak was going to be the next one that
I think you did. It just all these sales numbers for Steam, which honestly, it feels a little gross to me. I do not like this touting of sales numbers and singling out certain games. It all feels a little gross. And they are definitely, I know Sean talked about this previously, kind of greasing the wheels for that Claire Obscure 33
big
game
time.
of the year. It cannot happen. It cannot happen. But I really want to return and try to beat that game before the end of the year because I need to weigh in officially with having played the whole game. But okay, that's neither here nor there. Should we just say general thoughts? Because we're not going to go in order. There's too much, let's just call it what it is, slop to wade through, especially advertised free-to-play slop and other, just a lot of CG trailers and non-gameplay. So I personally don't have a lot to say about it. Huck, any general thoughts on Gamescom opening night live?
Yeah, I think actually I came away from it feeling okay about it. I didn't think there was definitely a lot of CG, but I actually thought it was a pretty good show. Now I did watch it at 2 to 2.5 times speed, adjusting the speeds as I needed to. But I actually thought the pace was pretty good and like the variation in games was there. So yeah, I guess I may have liked it more than you guys.
Definitely. Can I ask a question that's probably going to make me sound like a complete noob?
Yes, please do.
Isn't like the max speed on YouTube 2?
Yes.
How do you get to 2.5?
I have a HTML video plugin in Chrome that allows me to play it at whatever rate I want.
Okay, fair enough. I was like, am I missing something? Because there have been times when I've wanted to go beyond 2 for some stuff.
And that's where I found that plugin. So everyone search it out. Let me even find you the name. I'll plug it. It's called
the plugin.
It's called Video Speed Controller. It's a plugin for Chrome.
All right. There you have it. Okay.
I did notice
good information.
I think you can, if you pay the big bucks on like certain apps, like on your YouTube app, you can now go to 3 times speed if you have YouTube Premium. So they're now charging for speed, which really pisses me off. You're going to create
the speed just gets you to ads faster anyway.
I guess so. While we're on this YouTube rant, I think I've ranted to you guys about this. When I'm watching a video and I want to pause the video to stop it from playing, and then it proceeds to play an ad right after I click pause, drives me up the wall. So anyways, happened multiple times while watching this show. Really pisses me off. YouTube.
You paused it? I just consumed it raw, like beginning to end.
I wish I could have done that.
Including pre-show, which, I mean, Sean and I were talking a bit before this show, and I kind of thought the pre-show was more interesting than the actual show. Anything that I hadn't heard of, that's another thing. So many of the things announced I've heard of already or seen stuff for. Not a lot of new content, but the pre-show was surprisingly refreshing. I even like the host of the pre-show.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah, I agree with that. The thing with Gamescom, it's like a few months away from the Game Awards. So I'm sure there's a lot of like, okay, we probably want to save the biggest stuff for the Game Awards, but like, what can we kind of fit in here in between Summer Game Fest and the Game Awards? And there's not a lot. I guess it would be for games like Hollow Knight, which we'll get to, that are kind of like floating around out there, and now they're like, okay, here's our release date. We're coming out in the next few months. Yeah,
and to be fair, I think that was at the time one of the bigger takeaways. Although it wasn't the release date wasn't official yet. He just said it's playable this year, and there's a playable demo at Gamescom. And then Team Cherry on their YouTube later that week revealed that the release date is very soon, September 4th, which is a bit of a like shake up in the games industry. There's a lot of games coming out in the next little while, and there's 3 big things coming out this week, which reminds me, most likely next week might do a little retroactive forward game or junk for all our fall releases. But, Silksong definitely added a little wrinkle to the gamer junk for the common consumer. because everyone is going to want to buy that game. But I did watch the trailer. I think the acrobatics and platforming gameplay looks much more engaging than Hollow Knight. I am debating starting Hollow Knight again this week. It's downloaded, ready to go. Probably
did
a bad,
you
probably a bad
finish
idea.
it before or no?
I did finish it, but I didn't like do everything. I was in the process
Okay.
of doing everything on Steam, and I stopped.
Yeah, I fired it up again just to kind of even remember where I was at, and I think I'm like maybe halfway through the game, but I had just finished Ninja Gaiden, so I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm in a zone where I'm like ready for a bit of a challenging game, and then immediately I was like, damn, these save points are so far from the boss fights. I absolutely hate that. That's one of the things I cannot stand about Hollow Knight. So I don't know if I'm going back to it. I'm sure I'll try out Silk Song, but
I don't remember that being. I thought the save points were always pretty close. So,
I mean, they're maybe it's just this one in particular. It's like the Mantis Lord's boss fight that I'm trying to do, which I think is optional. So
is that the
maybe I
ones
could
that
just
come out
skip
of those
it.
pods and it's like a tall room? No, maybe
It
not.
is a tall
Anyway.
room, but yeah. Anyway, that's frustrating. But
Yeah,
I
but
like the trailer for Silk Song. It looked more colorful than Hollow Knight, I thought, which was a plus.
if I was going to say where the time and budget that I noticed a difference from the first one, it's animation. Like some of the boss animations were very exaggerated and detailed, and I know they touted a very large like set of enemies, like 200 enemies. So I definitely noticed an improvement in detail of animation. So I'm excited for it. Huck, did you beat the first? Did you beat Hollow Knight?
No, I struggled to get into it actually. I don't know if it was the same thing Dwight's finding with the save points, but it didn't click for me when I tried it, and I have really no desire to go back to it. So I know like Alex from Pixelnauts like loves that game. So
Yeah, lots of people do. Like
yeah,
it's up there for best game of all time for a lot of people, and I still don't think it was great at allowing you to explore. I would often go down a path and get blocked no matter what way I went, and it was kind of forcing me down a path, and my exploration felt fruitless a lot of the times in that game, which I think is the staple of a Metroid like. And my other thing, I hate the knockback when you hit enemies with your sword. Like it just drives me nuts. And there's some vertical platforming sections that drove me up the wall, but I still love the game. I'm excited for Silk Song, and I'm sure many others are very excited for September 4th now. So I think that was the biggest news of the week, of the Gamescom week. Would we all agree on that?
Yeah, I would say so.
yeah.
Okay. Now I'm trying to think of what would be the next biggest game or announcement, and I'm honestly struggling. I mean, as an announcement, maybe the Black Myth sequel, Jean-Ki, being announced. Not that it was much more than a CG trailer, but that was some new information. Other than that, what would you guys say? I have maybe the Lego Batman is kind of interesting. Legacy of the Dark Knight. I thought initially it was tying in specifically to the Nolan trilogy, but I think it's across the board, which I thought if they just did a Lego Batman take on the Nolan trilogy, I would love that. But I think it's much more than that because there's quotes from 89 Batman and other stuff in there.
What do you,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, what do you think about the Resident Evil launch announcement?
I guess the
Release
date was news,
Yeah, I
February
think so.
2026. I thought, yeah, it seems about what I would have predicted. I think it's kind of when the last few Resident Evil games have launched in February or March, if I remember correctly. So that made sense, I guess, because they did announce previously it was going to be 2026, I think, but maybe not. Maybe it
I
was
think
just
we knew it
expected.
was early 2026,
Yeah.
but
But I mean, there wasn't a lot of, let's talk Requiem then. I think that's the other big thing. And then we'll get back to the Batman thing, Sean. I think like you saw, it's just a sliver of gameplay when you're following the mom. And I will say that
Looks
that
real
engine and how that it looked very, very good.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So RE Engine still seems to be bringing it. Did RE4 HD like launch on PS4 as well? It was like a dual launch. So I think this will be the first one. I believe that's exclusive to next gen or current gen consoles, which I think will make a difference.
Village?
I'm pretty sure Village was both as well.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was hunting Autopop potential for that, and I think I played it on PS4.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Sean.
I don't have too much to say. Like you said, in terms of gameplay, it's hard to tell. I mean, it seemed like that was essentially the intro of the game, and you're getting some cutscenes with a little bit of gameplay in between. I thought it was a really strong like story hook. Like I was kind of like, oh yeah, like I'm kind of just even watching this getting pulled into it. So it made me more excited for the game, even though it didn't show that much.
And I didn't get this from the footage they showed at Gamescom, but possibly later in the week or an article I saw, it seems like there's a character similar to the Nemesis in part 3 that's always following you or stalking you or something like that. And I'm maybe that's the character that puts the bag over the head of that guy in the footage. I'm guessing it is. But I am intrigued for sure and very excited for that game, although I still haven't beat the RE4 remake. I thought we might get a VR announcement at Gamescom as well, potentially, but maybe not. That might not be in the cards for this one. VR seems to be fading out.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it wouldn't be that hard to add if they've been doing it for the other ones. Although this one isn't first person, right? Is it?
Well, the footage, the last few they've patched in, they've been first person and added third person modes after. And so
right.
and the footage we saw for the intro sequence was first person. So I assume a lot of those systems would still be in place. My question would be, because it's current gen, could they actually, render a VR version performance wise?
Yeah, it's a good question, but seems like something they could add later, even if it's not a huge initial something for launch.
Okay, let's defer to both of you. Any one game or announcement or footage that really stood out to you or had you excited above all others?
Well, can we go back to the Lego Batman for a second?
Sure, yes,
I
absolutely.
am kind of excited for it. It was one of those things, I actually didn't watch this live, but I kind of skimmed some of the announcements as they were coming out. And then this one was announced and I was like, oh, like this is the next Lego game. Like, it was kind of like the Star Wars Skywalker saga, which was good, but it just kind of felt like how many Lego Batman games are there? Like, do we need another one? But when I saw the actual footage and stuff, I was like, oh, that actually looks kind of cool. Like the combat seems to be pulling from some of the Arkham stuff. Like you said, like it's mixing and matching all the different Batman franchises. So I think it could be pretty cool, actually.
I thought they were going to announce they kind of worked in partnership with Rocksteady to take the combat system, but maybe they don't have to do that, or they're just going to steal a version of it because it did look similar. But I guess would be, like I said, way more interested if it was more focused on I liked those 3 movie Lego games that it all started, and they've gotten kind of too big and too ambitious for me. And I kind of miss the smaller original format of the Lego games that were kind of true to a story or, trilogy of movies.
Yeah, there was one other thing. I can't remember if this was in the presentation or if I read this somewhere else, but that they're adding like a harder difficulty level. Like they're kind of trying to appeal to not just, family audience, but they're kind of going after a little bit more of the hardcore gamer audience. I don't know if it's going to work, but I am curious what that means.
Huck, any thoughts on Lego Batman?
Not really. I mean, I've seen a lot of these games. I don't know what they will add that's really that new, but I like them. The games are good.
How about you? Any game in particular that stood out to you?
There was a couple. One that I'm just trying to find here. What's the name of it? Oh, it's called, this is going to be totally off the radar, I think, for everyone. But it was called, I think the name, it was kind of hard to read the font of the game, but I think it was called Cinder City. And
Okay, yeah.
it was giving me major binary domain vibes. So I was all in on this bad boy. So the gameplay almost looked a little more sort of like open world, possibly shooter. I don't know if they said it was going to be multiplayer or not, but I was definitely getting binary domain vibes from this guy, and it's on my radar now for sure.
Yeah,
So this is the NC Soft game, right?
Yes.
right. And this felt like a paid portion of the show by NC Soft. There was
Possibly.
2 games in a row, and they were talking about NC Soft like I'm supposed to know what they've done before. Do you guys know? Like I don't know anything about NC Soft.
They did City of Heroes back in the day.
Oh,
So
okay.
there are a lot of MMO games, I think.
Fair enough.
Guild Wars too.
Oh, Guild Wars. Okay, that's a very big game that people still play. So that kind of makes it more impressive if it's going for a massively multiplayer action game, which I can't think of a great version of that that's ever existed.
So I don't even know if that's what they're doing, to be
Yeah,
honest.
me neither.
It's not totally
So
clear.
it says tactical FPS MMO
Okay.
on some of the articles I'm seeing.
Slightly less interested then for me, but still
Yeah.
still looks
That was
pretty
the thing I wasn't sure about with it for sure. But
I think it sounds pretty cool.
yeah.
I guess for me, one in the pre-show, I thought, I'm sure Sean thought this looked good as well. Dench Attack, is that the bus grinding game that looks like,
it's like Jet Set Radio?
Jet Set Radio, 100%. That was my first thought exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's like this weird bus doing things, and then it gets powers, which looked very fluid and fun. And that was one of the highlights for me for sure. And then also from the main show, I would say I was pleasantly surprised by the updated footage of John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. I thought visually it looked great. I think it's like a Left 4 Dead type thing. They teased what seems to always be missing from these types of games that Helldivers has done well, but I think could do even better, which is cooperation and communication while you're fighting. And there's always this struggle with, well, if people are playing by themselves or don't have a headset, how do we design things so that they don't require communication, but it's really fun when it has it? And I think I saw them like towing a car and communicating aspects of pulling something that I thought, okay, there could be some new ideas here. It felt like a bit of a name cash grab when it was first pitched. And I am genuinely intrigued and excited for this game now based on what I saw.
yeah, it definitely felt to me like it was kind of Left 4 Dead and Helldivers inspired to some degree. Like the vehicle thing seems like it's like a mainstay of the game, right? Like you always have this big vehicle going along with you, which seems to add some interesting wrinkles as well. Like you can jump up and probably have turrets and stuff, or you can jump down and collect stuff or whatever else you got to do. So I feel like that could be a fun element of it for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It looks pretty good. Another just thought of mine, feel free to jump in with any other games. I really, not a big plan here. I've been very excited for Onimusha Way of the Sword. I don't know if it was the footage they showed. It looked like washed out and like zero color. The shaders on the main character looked weird. I thought it looked like visually, like technically bad. Did anyone else get that vibe? It looked like a different game than what I remembered it being before.
I didn't.
I remember it being dark, like very dark blacks and like awesome colors. And I don't know if it was just the presentation or what. It looked weird to me.
Well, I will say the thing I was wondering, and it seemed like a lot of other people were kind of talking about this, like, is it a Souls-like seemed to be a question. And when it was originally introduced, that was not even in the conversation. But I think maybe the desaturation and stuff has just made people kind of start thinking that. As far as I know, it's not, but a lot of people are wondering if it is now.
I'm looking at a scene right now where they're fighting in like a interior of a ship. It looks like almost like or a wooden structure, and everything blends in together. Like it looks like it's a post process or something that is applying like a red color filter to everything, and nothing stands out. And I do not remember the game looking like this previously. So I don't know. It definitely, like, the character looks very light. Something is up with this footage. It is not right.
There's also the scene before where he's fighting the things he splits in half, those like brain looking things, and they almost look unlit. Like they're almost too bright, too light. So yeah, there is something a little weird. But
yeah, I mean, it could just be a temporary graphical thing, or I hope they're not shifting to this art direction, or it's a performance thing, because I thought it looked great before. I'm still excited for it, but I thought it was kind of weird footage to show. It did not showcase the game the way previous footage did, in my opinion. Any other stuff you guys
I got one more. Well, two things from the main show and then a couple from the pre-show. The Indiana Jones DLC really just reminded me that I need to go back and play that game. I was really enjoying it, never beat it. Need to go back and play it, and would be nice to just finish that game off. I think that's last year, is it not? Are we behind?
Yes.
Am I behind already?
Yeah.
I played it this year on PlayStation. It released on PlayStation this year.
Right. Okay.
You can include it if you play it on PlayStation on your year-end list.
No, you cannot.
No, you cannot. And then the one thing we didn't touch about, which seemed like a big thing, because it's always like the big CG hype machine, is the WoW expansion, which, I mean, they brought out a person to talk about it. Not a big deal to me, but it does seem like, every WoW expansion, they don't show you anything about the gameplay. They just show this like CG story-ish thing, and you're supposed to be wowed with how good the CG looks, and it does look incredible.
Blizzard, they always have
Blizzard
great CG
is
trailers,
masters of CG trailers or CG cutscenes even.
Don't they farm those out to like Blur Studios or something like that?
I'm sure they do.
I don't know if this is like.
I don't know.
Sounds familiar, but I think some of them they do in house. That's a good question. I don't know.
But some games, all in the pre-show, that I liked. Very intrigued by the Battlestar Galactica Shattered Hopes game. Apparently it's like FTL. So that's like a perfect sort of like adaptation of Battlestar to take like the FTL style and apply it to Battlestar. I think it's perfect. So
definitely thought of you when I saw that.
Yeah, pretty excited. Pretty excited about that one.
I had a similar reaction. Like, how have they not made a Battlestar like strategy game at this point?
Yeah. Yeah, at first I thought it was a strategy game, but apparently it's not. Apparently it's like FTL. I mean, it's like more of like run based, like you're trying to run away from stuff or whatever, making sure you take the right choices. I think I read that.
I saw the letters FTL in the trailer somewhere, so maybe
that's it. Maybe that's where I saw it too. There was a game that was kind of weird called PVKK. And it reminded me almost of like a Papers, Please, except you're like shooting a gun, like a big turret type thing. And it's almost like you have to figure out the proper instructions to load it and fire in the proper direction instead of like checking passports. That's like how it kind of clicked to me.
It seemed to me like it was almost like an escape room game where you're stuck in the cockpit of like some kind of vehicle, and like all the stuff you have to figure out is like with the console in front of you.
Yeah. And I mean,
it seemed interesting for sure.
Seemed like VR potential high for that one also. I don't know if they will, but it seemed, I'm kind of interested in that. And the last one, which I thought of you, Frank, when I saw it, was a 2D side-scrolling beat 'em up called Absolem.
I was going to bring it up.
And it looked very much art style, like Thunder Lotus, like Jotun or whatever that game is, like all that kind of Spiritfarer art style. That's like all I could think about while I was watching that. So, yeah, a couple gems in here, I think.
Yeah, I thought that game looked great as well. It's a little unclear. I mean, maybe it's on Steam or something, but I don't know if it's I'm guessing it's a Metroid-like or something like that. I don't know for sure, but I was definitely intrigued by that game. Also in the pre-show, I'll just mention Bubsy 4D, like looked absolutely terrible. Like the model,
Yeah.
the model for Bubsy and like the shaders on it, like I thought it looked like ass.
Yeah. It was
I
like
can't
cell
believe that
shading,
led the show.
cell
Oh,
shading from like the PS2 era.
yeah.
Like
I
clunky
mean,
models and
this
cell
is
shaded.
this is like the second re whatever you call it remake or that they've brought back Bubsy, and the last one got terrible reviews too. I was kind of curious because I remember that game on SNES, and yeah, apparently it's not very good. So
And they made like Bubsy kind of chunky. Like Bubsy is rail thin. This is not my Bubsy. And it just is something, it felt really off. Bad vibes. And I'm not even going to accept like that's like the self awareness of Bubsy and like that it's made fun of and stuff like that. Not allowing it. Don't think so. Um, we should mention Sean sent it to me immediately on text. He-Man, Dragon Pearl of Destruction. Didn't even need to click on the link. I knew immediately. It's a retro beat 'em up featuring He-Man, which I said a few weeks ago. We might need to pump the brakes a bit on these 3D retro beat 'em ups, or sorry, 2D retro beat 'em ups.
Yes.
yeah, which might be a good place to also bring up the Halloween game, which it may have been announced before. I don't totally remember, but this one also, I'm sure you could guess what it is without even clicking on the trailer, which is an asymmetrical horror
Yes.
game like Dead by Daylight.
Isn't Michael Myers in Dead by Daylight?
Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't. I'm not sure what's unique about this, to be honest.
You know what? If they're gonna make a beat 'em up or another 2D one or reinvent something, can we get a Splatterhouse collection or remake Splatterhouse? Like that
Yeah.
actually was like edgy at the time. I want to see how it like holds up. I just remember like on TurboGrafx, the big thing was like the abortion creatures that you were taking a chainsaw to. Like, I want to know, or I want them to like go full edgelord Splatterhouse in 2025.
We may have talked about this, but there was like what era was it? I think it was PS3 and Xbox 360. There was a Splatterhouse game in 2010 that came out.
I remember that. It was 3D, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it did all that well, but yeah, let's bring back a new 2D Splatterhouse game for sure. Just real quick to that Absolum game is from the makers of Streets of Rage 4, but it's apparently a roguelike that's kind of like Hades is being compared to.
Okay. And I thought, because it was everywhere this week, that Prince of Persia, the Rogue Prince of Persia went live. I thought that was going to be part of the announcements, but it wasn't. Has anyone played that game yet? I'm very curious.
No.
I fired it up briefly. It is similar to Dead Cells. I didn't realize it was from the developers.
Yeah.
Like not the original developers of Dead Cells, but I guess the people who took it over afterwards or something. And it does play quite a bit like that. But it's cool how they do the running on walls. Like it's a side scroller, 2D side scroller, but then you often have like kind of walls in the background, and if there's a wall there you can kind of run up it or across it. And yeah, it had a pretty good feel to it. I don't just me and roguelikes, I probably will not put that much time into it, but it was pretty fun from what I saw.
I got a couple more quick ones. In the pre-game show, Valor Mortis, which really reminded me of like a French Revolution BioShock. Like it didn't really do anything for me, but I thought it might, tickle the fancy of BioShock fans that might be out there. I don't know if you guys had any opinions on that one, but that was what I thought people might have some interest in.
I thought to me, it was kind of like in the vein of, I guess it is BioShocky, but it felt like it was going to be like a Lies of P type thing, just based on the aesthetics. But I thought it looked pretty good for sure. It's by the developers of Ghost Runner, so I mean they've got some good first person action under their belt. has anyone ever done a first-person Souls-like? I'm getting the feeling this might be a first-person Souls-like, which reminds me, another game in this vein. There was not a lot of content, but clearly in the Lies of P realm was La Divina Commedia, the Divine Comedy, and it was like Dante, and I assume it's going to be another Souls-like, but don't know for sure. It was just, again, CG footage. So much of this thing is like, what are we looking at? We don't even know. We have no context for anything. And then in the Nintendo Direct, we have too much context.
Yeah. And like you said, like so many of them are Souls-likes. Like they blur together. It just always happens with this show. Can I throw out a few quick ones?
Of course, Sean.
So gotta mention the new Ron Gilbert game.
Yes.
It's called Death by Scrolling, and it seems like it's a roguelike where the screen is always moving, but it's kind of like overhead, like Zelda style perspective, and you have to stay ahead of the screen or else you'll die, but you're also kind of running around and trying to accomplish things. Looked kind of interesting, definitely a bit different for him.
Reminded me a bit, just from the vertical scrolling aspect, of an underrated game that's very fun, Pac-Man 256, which was like a endless scrolling Pac-Man game that I don't think got enough attention. You should check it out. And I mean, has anyone done a roguelike or roguelite for like an old school Gradius or R-type shooter? I'm kind of surprised that doesn't exist. I mean, that X-Out game I talked about previously that was on Amiga is kind of like that. It's like a single run game. I guess, are all of those games almost roguelikes? Because the only difference is like when you die in those games, you lose all your power-ups generally. Like it's not continually building up. So I don't know. I think there's some potential for something like that.
Yeah, I'm feeling like there's a couple out there, but you're right. It's not as kind of oversaturated as some of the other roguelike genres. I was going to mention one from the pre-show, Long Gone. Do you guys remember this one? It was kind of
the
like
pixel zombie game.
Yeah, but it was interesting. Like I guess it kind of reminded me a bit of Replaced in that it's like pixels, but it's got depth to it. I don't quite know if it's like full 3D or what it is, but it definitely had an interesting art style.
Yeah,
I saw a wrap-up article for Gamescom that mentioned Replace. So was it playable on the show floor?
Yeah, and apparently it has been delayed to 2026. It just they didn't make a big announcement about it.
Okay,
but
that reminds me, I did like the segment last week of will this game be coming out this year? It reminded me of a bunch of games that I had kind of forgotten of. That was fun. The only other thing that like kind of stood out to me was they feel similar to me. Routine. I feel like that game changed names. I feel like we saw that game before and it was called something else, but I could be wrong, or it's just similar to another game where you're taking pictures in kind of a horror setting. And this game has been coming up everywhere lately. Chronos: The New Dawn, which I still think looks pretty good.
Yeah, that comes out pretty soon, right?
I think November, December. That reminds me.
I think
earlier,
like in a week or two.
Oh, do you remember that game that got announced a few years ago that had like Matthew McConaughey and all these actors attached to it, and it had like this swinging mechanic? I can't remember what it was called. Like there are so many games in the last 5 years that have gotten announced and forgotten. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't remember. What even was that?
I don't know. It's great. I just popped into my mind out of nowhere, and it was like it had a big budget. It seemed like, and have not had.
Exodus, was that it?
Sounds right. Yeah. I guess we should mention like the big thing for most people in the show was Call of Duty Black Ops 7.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, Sean, some co-op campaign, which cool. Is something that I thought you'd be interested in.
For sure.
There was two things I really liked about this section of the show. One, Metallica, Master of Puppets. Can't go
But
wrong
it was
there.
like a remix, weird version of it.
But
I don't know.
still, you could play the real song in your head. It's still good. And then it was looking very Control-esque, I must say, which as a Game of the Year winner, I must say, pretty excited.
See, I mean, it really is going off the rails. I
Yes,
guess
it
the
is.
big takeaway for me was it was almost in like this cyber alternate reality
Yeah.
where it's got like this that could be interesting, I guess, as far as a campaign goes. Multiplayer, 4-player campaigns, almost impossible to do. Like just think back to Halo 5 and how bad that was at times, accommodating for because it had to accommodate co-op. I
I don't buy that. That's why that game was so bad.
Oh, it was a big reason.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling this campaign is going to be bad. Call of Duty campaigns should be single player, hyper focused, not a lot of room for anytime they try to open things up to player freedom, aside from maybe one stealth mission in the last game, it does not go well. These games are about spectacle, but hope I'm proven wrong.
Yeah, one thing I was wondering about, like, I don't know if this was ever discussed or like, but don't they usually go like Black Ops and then a different Call
Yeah.
of Duty game and alternate? Like, why are they doing 2 Black Ops in a row?
There's usually 3 that they alternate. I think like usually a World War II game and then a Modern Warfare and a Black Ops are the 3 that cycle. I think they're probably just making money with Black Ops
Well,
and they don't, or they make the most money with those games and Microsoft's so hurting that they're just like, we need to keep making money.
It also seems like all the teams are now working on this game. Like before, it used to be Treyarch, Raven, and Infinity Ward. Those were the 3 studios that rotated the 3 games. But now it's like Raven is like the multiplayer team, and the first one I mentioned, which I'm forgetting already, Treyarch is like the campaign people. And I don't even know if Infinity Ward exists anymore.
Sledgehammer's involved now too.
Sledgehammer. Okay, yeah, Sledgehammer. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe they just need all hands on deck, and they had to kind of just spin off a second Call of Duty. I mean, Black Ops.
Yeah, it just makes me wonder if that's a bad sign for the game, and then like if if they're having to rush it out or something. But like you said, all the teams are working on it, so maybe not.
I think because they're doing Black Ops 7, I mean, Battlefield has a great opportunity to kind of steal some of the, if they ever have a chance to make a push at making a dent in Call of Duty, it is this year, 100%. As I said on previous shows, casual people I know that play are being drawn to Battlefield just by the nature of it compared to the kookiness of the Black Ops series and where COD multiplayer is going these days. I would like, they showed more of Ninja Gaiden 4 or Gaiden 4, and I thought it made me less excited. It felt like kind of sterile and robotic with like cyber stuff going on. It kind of brought my excitement level down.
Yeah, I mean, I've not really been paying that much attention to it. I'm sure I'll try it out because it is on Game Pass, but yeah, not too much else to say about it.
Ghosts of Yote, they announced the Legends free DLC after the fact. Not much else changing in terms of my opinion of that game. It seemed like footage we've seen before.
Go
ahead, yeah.
I was just gonna say one kind of big announcement, but depending on it, is the Disco Elysium people or whoever the Disco Elysium people are that are still remaining are putting out their next game called Zero Parades. I don't know how.
I don't know. I think I actually started to drop lid during this portion.
Yeah. But I mean, the art, they didn't show too much. It was pretty quick cuts from what I remember, and it looked very much kind of like Disco Elysium perspective and very. I have a feeling it's kind of more of a spin-off game rather than like a new thing.
It is apparently it's a spy CRPG, which on the surface I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But then I saw the trailer and I was like, I don't really get much out of that. So
Yeah.
but I definitely fell asleep for most of this. And I will say that it's kind of a big deal. I'm sure there's a lot of people excited for that.
Disco Elysium was pretty exciting. One last one on my list, Project Spectrum, which was near the end of the show. Sort of like first person action horror game with like psychological thriller kind of aspects to it, which sounded really cool until they said it's more like, an asymmetric multiplayer game, which then totally turned me off. So I don't know if either of you guys have any interest in this game, but the premise as like a single player, almost like, Eternal Darkness type style of game would have been much more interesting to me than, some sort of multiplayer, almost like Evolve or Dead by Daylight, So I don't know if you guys even remember this one.
Yeah,
No, I don't.
Was this the one where it's like PVEVP?
No, it's
That
like
was
a
the
woman.
thing that
It's
he
like a
made?
woman that's going into a mansion, and then she
Yeah, but
goes and like, is that the same one?
But like, didn't he introduce it by saying like it's player versus enemy versus player or something? I remember him making a big point, and I'm seeing that listed in a bunch of the
Oh, okay.
headlines here.
I thought that was a different one, but maybe I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is
This one
Project Spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it looks all right. I mean it is weird that it's just watching the footage again that it's multiplayer because it doesn't feel like it necessarily when you're watching it.
Yeah, but it's like a shooter with supernatural horror elements. Is that right?
Oh yeah, it reminded me of Fear at the beginning.
Yeah, Fear.
The old
Yeah.
Fear series. Just visually and like the way there was like that distortion when enemies moved.
Well, yeah, and they kind of talk about the psychological horror aspect of like, is this really you? Are you really shooting what you think you're shooting kind of thing? It was kind of interesting, but, more of like probably better as a novel or a movie.
All right, I think that's it for me. Sean, anything else you want to touch on? Or?
So no other games that I was excited about that I can think of, but two just quick kind of funny comments. One was the Road Kings trailer for that trucker game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the whole thing was. I mean, I think there is a market for these kind of simulator games, but like the trailer just. It's kind of funny to me how like epic they tried to make it seem.
I got the sense it's more than a truck simulator. It's more like a Pacific Drive, or was that what it's called? Pacific Drive or Pacific Drift?
Oh, maybe. I mean, I
think
don't
it starts off that you're doing truck stuff, and then it becomes more of a story-based game. I don't know for sure. That's the vibe I got from the trailer.
Yeah, it seemed like there was more to like doing the deliveries and all that stuff. I just don't know if it. Like, I don't think it goes to like a horror sci-fi direction or anything like that. But the other one, so I can't remember if they showed two trailers for World of Tanks. I think they did, right? There was like one in the middle and one towards the end. And the one at the end, it was just funny because Jeff Keighley was like, "Oh, these developers from Tanks. But trust me, you've never seen them do this before." And then the trailer's all tanks. I'm like, what the hell is this? It's just, I don't know, funny Keeley having to hype up something that was probably paid for.
I think those are two different games. I think World of Tanks is one, and this one was called Heat, I think.
But it's called World of Tanks Heat, I believe.
Oh, World of Tanks Heat? Oh, okay then.
I think.
I just thought it was World of Tanks 2.0 at the...
That was the first one. And then at the bottom, near the bottom, I'm looking at the list you sent, Frank.
Fuck, dude. I see tanks, I check out. I couldn't fucking care less about tanks. Okay, I think that's all for me. Yep. Anything else? No. Well, Sean, was there others? Well, do you want to give this a letter grade and then you can talk about some other things that happened that week?
Sure. Yeah, I had a couple other things just to mention real quick. But and they did announce a remaster of Outlaws, which was an old LucasArts Wild West shooter, which
I did not remember this game at all.
I vaguely remember it. I think I don't know if I had the full game or if I just had a demo, but I remember playing it a bit.
Yeah, I don't even remember the box art. I'm usually, even though I didn't play PC, I remember my friends playing stuff, especially LucasArts stuff. And I have zero recollection of this game, but it looked cool. I thought it's kind of a neat idea. Okay, letter grades. for
Yeah.
Gamescom opening night live.
Damn, this is tough. I'm gonna say C plus.
Okay.
I'm also going to give it a C plus.
I will give it a D minus. I thought it was horrid, and the footage selected by each developer and their presentation was also terrible. So, not good.
Frank's back, baby.
Gaming is
All
shit.
right.
I'm leaving the show.
Next up. Oh, sorry, Sean. Some of the other shows you watched or standout games.
Yeah, okay, so I'll just list these off. I don't know if you guys caught any of these, but I had a game called Crushed in Time listed, which was from the people that made There Is No Game, Wrong Dimension, which I really liked. But this seems like more of a standard point and click adventure, like Sherlock Holmes themed. But I'm hoping it's got some of the weirdness of There Is No Game because I really like that.
It's like title image or whatever you want to call it seems like it's calling back to Sam and Max.
Yeah, or Day of the Tentacle vibe I thought I got from some of the art.
I feel like this is the exact posing of the characters in the Sam and Max art. But okay, good. Okay, cool. Not for me, but
there was a Star Trek VR game announced, Star Trek Infection. I'm trying to remember if the trailer really even showed anything, but I would be excited, except that it's a survival game. As soon as I hear that, I'm like, yeah, probably not going to be something I'll play, but it's survival horror. So maybe, I don't know. It's kind of intriguing, I guess. And then there's a game called Nice Day for Fishing, which is like, it kind of seemed like Dredge in the sense that, not that it's a horror game, but just that it's fishing, but then it's adding some other elements on top of that. So it's like an RPG about fishing kind of. And I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm getting more Dave the Diver meets Stardew Valley vibes.
I could see that. Yeah. And then there's a game called Good Boy, which is like, you would think it's about a dog, but I believe it's about a robot. But it's kind of a Metroidvania that kind of seemed to have an interesting vibe to it. But I mean, that's about it. I really, I had the Battlestar Galactica game here, but we already mentioned that. I think everything else was mentioned. I guess the Rogue Xbox Ally X or whatever was somewhere in the show. And it does have a release date now, but I don't think they've announced a price yet, right?
Don't know.
I don't think so. I literally could not care less about this thing.
I'm a little curious. When my Steam Deck finally dies, I'm going to need something else. So,
wait, how are you going to hack this one and break it, Sean?
Well, maybe I won't have to.
You will. You can't help it. It's like in your being. You can't help but hack these things. Okay, let's get into the Nintendo Direct for Kirby Air Riders. This was 47 minutes.
I cannot believe it was actually 47 minutes.
Which went into painstaking and repetitive detail. What's Sakurai's first name? Masashiro Sakurai. He kind of hosted the whole thing. And I have to admit, I know this guy is like beloved because of Smash Brothers and other things. He wasn't really on my radar. I liked his vibe. He's like, a lot of people say this is pretty much just Mario Kart. I was like, you know what? It is pretty much just Mario.
Yeah.
he had a cool demeanor. I haven't really seen him in action all that much, and I gotta say, I like the guy. And I would say, as much as I liked him, the game itself, the presentation itself was very long and very monotonous, going over they said at the end, there's lots left to talk about. I'm like, I thought I knew every little detail. I thought I knew the options in the menus that you're allowed to do. Like I thought I knew everything about this game by the end of this. But I will say it looked more impressive than Mario Kart World. I'm kind of excited for it. And I thought the city trial mode looked pretty fun. And I thought the polish level, clearly borrowing and inspired by other games they've made, Smash Brothers, very similar. And it got me kind of hyped for this. It even made more sense to me why they released Mario Kart World first, that this game is actually going to be better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not hyped for it. I will say it could be fun, and I do trust Nintendo, to a certain degree, to put out something that is unexpectedly fun. I never played the original, but I still don't see why this should come out. Like, yes, Mario Kart World just came out. Like, this should be coming out next year. Like, I don't know. It feels like this is a placeholder, and again, apparently there's a direct next month now, potentially for Prime. I still don't know what's going on with that. But the fact that it was such a long direct, and like, they spent so much time about how, like, the first game, you didn't have to press any buttons. Now we've added a button. Like, okay, it's a simple game. I do like simplicity, but it just did not need this much detail.
It definitely had an embedded, like, fanaticism for the first game that I don't know necessarily exists. And it built its own hype by saying how much people loved all this stuff in the first one, but I know nothing about it. But maybe there is a large fan base for it. But I thought, like, the courses looked intriguing. I like the idea of slowing down to make tight turns, which was probably in the original as well. This game was like, did not care about it before I watched this. Now I care about it. I did care about it for the first 20 minutes. And then over the next 27 minutes, I'm like, okay, I think I'm done with this. I think I've played it. I think I've platinumed, or the equivalent of platinuming this game by watching this Nintendo Direct, which is insane. Like, leave them wanting a little more. This was like an exercise in beating something to death.
Yeah, again, it's like, felt like they're vamping because they didn't have something, so they're like, okay, we got to throw this in. I don't know. Maybe that's not true.
But
maybe
even the Zelda Directs weren't this long. Like, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are enormous games, and they weren't even this long.
Yeah, I don't get it. And, like, I do agree. Like, I thought it was kind of funny that he was like saying it basically is Mario Kart, but I don't know if that's doing him any favors either.
Well, I think visually it looked better than Mario Kart World. And last thing, like, they don't have a translator on this, and like, it's weird because he's talking in so much detail about the game that I need to know what he's saying, and I cannot. It's in like a black bar at the bottom, and I cannot look at the footage while I'm reading it. And I'm like, piecing things together that I read versus watching over the 47 minutes, and it's just not a good way to do a direct.
You got to watch it twice.
Not a chance. We still don't have a price on this thing. We have a release date, November 20th, if I remember correctly.
It's gonna be a full price game. It's Nintendo.
Oh, I think it's gonna be 120 in Canada.
120
would be my guess. Yeah, if 100 or 120 in Canada. That's Donkey Kong was 100 in Canada, right?
Okay, yeah, it'll be that price.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
But Mario Kart was 120. Like, that's
so.
It's weird. It's weird, dude. Something is up with that Mario Kart game. I'm going to make a documentary about that game before I die. I'm going undercover in Nintendo. I'm getting people to get me information. Something is going on with Mario Kart World, and someone needs to get to the bottom of it. Okay. Do we have anything else to say about Air Riders?
The only thing when I was watching the footage / watching it right now about the city trial part, I did get a little like Diddy Kong Racing vibe going on, which kind of made me a little intrigued, but at the same time, it's just so Mario Kart, and it is bizarre from like just an IP ownership standpoint. like you were saying, like Mario Kart World just came out, and now you have this other kart racer game right on its heels that I'm assuming, did they announce the date? Did I get to the end?
November 20th, I'm pretty sure.
November 20th. Okay, so, within 6 months or whatever of the other one coming out, seems kind of bizarre that they would choose to do that. Like you were saying, why not, or Sean was saying, I can't remember who, why not say this for another year, push it out, unless they're just like, they literally have nothing for the holiday season, and this was kind of ready to go, so they're going to push it out. This is like the Nintendo tentpole game for the holiday season that people are going to have to buy, and that is strange.
Wait for the doc, bro. It's coming in the future. We'll get all the answers. I still this is where I disagree with both of you. I do believe Metroid Prime 4 will release this year.
Well, we mentioned it on Film Junk, haven't mentioned it here. You almost had a chance to play the game.
I went to Fan Expo and I was like, if there's one thing I do, I have to play Metroid Prime 4 with mouse controls. And I walked by it at first when we were doing our first pass of the Fan Expo. We got there later, and about 5 o'clock, it goes till 7. It closes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get in line now. And they'd already closed the line down.
Like, it was the only chance to play this
and
game.
It wasn't
it's
even
never
full.
getting released.
You had to be there when the doors open,
Look,
man.
when I was doing shows for Embers of Miram and stuff like that, they need to enforce time limits on these things. People will sit and play a game for 20 minutes and do stuff. It's like 5 minutes, 10, I would say 7.5 minutes might be a nice one. Play it and you're gone. Get out of here. Because people have no life and they will just sit there and play that shit all day. You have to have a system for kicking them off.
Yeah, like I'm shocked that they don't, because, years and years ago, I remember they used to have systems that would reset every 10 minutes or whatever. So you couldn't even argue it. Like it would just, you get 10 minutes. That's it.
Maybe they had that, but it felt like the time is too long. Whatever, get a taste, get the fuck out.
I think you need to do some research in your doc about this, because I guarantee they had some sort of time limit. They're not going to let people just willy-nilly do whatever they want.
I was observing from outside, and it didn't look like a whole lot of enforcement was going on. And
you know what? It was probably some celebrity that, took a break from signing autographs, went over and monopolized the Metroid Prime 4.
No, you could see what was going on. There was no celebrities, dude. And I did get a nice picture of the Metroid Prime 4 banner they had there. But disappointing, to say the least. But it will be coming out this year.
Okay.
On Switch, too. It might not come out on the Switch this year.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know if they do that. Do you think they do that? Would Nintendo be so bold?
Push comes to shove. They might do that.
All right. Do we want to do what we played? I feel like we've been going a long time.
I'm good.
Okay.
I guess stuff.
Anyone have anything new that they want to talk about? I really don't.
I have one new game we have not talked about at all, and that's a game called Time Flies, which is I guess, black and white puzzle game where you play as a fly, and it's run-based puzzle game where it like basically geolocates you and then picks your country's it actually asks you for your country of origin, and I think your sex, maybe, I can't remember, but it basically says, like, your life expectancy is, like, for me it was 81.6 years or something like that. So then you have 81.6 seconds in the game to complete a list of, like, essentially a bucket list. Well, I think they call it bucket list of things this fly has to do before you die. So every run, it's just like a small environment, maybe like, let's say 10 or 15 screens of information. And you as the fly have to fly around this house. It was a house in the first puzzle, and solve all these semi-cryptic bucket list things. So, like, for the first one, there was like a one I think was called like learn an instrument, and there's like a guitar sitting by the corner of a room, and it's 2D. So when you go over to the guitar and you get close to the string section, it'll zoom in, time will stop, and you have to kind of like strum the strings, and then you achieve this bucket list item. And so the trick is you have to kind of like explore your first few runs, try to find where the puzzles are, try to solve the puzzles, and then eventually do a run where you do them all in one go. So there is like an exploration aspect. There is then a time management aspect of like planning your route and figuring out how am I going to, achieve all of these puzzles in one run. So pretty fun, but I must say like you definitely would want to have at least an hour to sit down to play one of the areas. I think there's 12. Because like I started the second area and it's in like some sort of museum, and I was like, when I go back to this game, I'm not going to remember any of the puzzles I already solved, so I'm gonna have to basically start from scratch. But it was pretty fun actually, and it was pretty challenging, and you kind of have to like solve puzzles of like what does this actually mean on the bucket list, because some of the clues are like meet your biggest fan. Okay, well, what does that mean? I don't know.
It's a big fan, ceiling fan, or
yeah. Well, there's a bathroom fan. There's a ceiling fan. Which one is it? And how do you actually like interact with it to complete the thing? And there's also some things like there's fly paper hanging from the ceiling. So if you go and get stuck on that, you die right away. So there's like little hazards. There's like a Venus flytrap on top of the kitchen that can eat you and you die. So there's like hazards in the world. It was pretty fun, and I enjoyed that like puzzle aspect of the game, and it was short and quick, and that like one more run thing comes into play, and I like that. Once you complete that first area, you move on to a completely fresh area and don't have to kind of remember any of that stuff that you already solved. So I would say if anyone likes small puzzle games, this is definitely one to check out. It's pretty fun.
it feels like Untitled Goose Game is a good comparison.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Looks really cool. It's on PlayStation as well, so I assume it's on Xbox and other stuff. Looks.
I bought it on Steam, so
pretty neat.
It's there. Yeah.
Sean, have you played Sword of the Sea? I find it hard to believe that you haven't on PlayStation Plus.
I resisted upgrading my PlayStation Plus, so I have not played it yet.
I have base PlayStation Plus right now, so I did not play it either. All right, just
Suckers.
wanted to double check on that.
I installed it, did not play.
I'll say the thing I've probably played the most since we last recorded is This Seat Taken? And I was like, I do love the game, but there is one thing in this game that drives me absolutely nuts. And it is if you tap R at any point when you have like half of the puzzle solved, it skips you to the next area. Like you don't have to get 100%.
Yeah.
And like I
It's like
was
the
playing in
confirm
handheld
button?
mode. Yeah. And I would just put it down, and the way I put it down, hit the R button, and it went to the next thing. And then you can't go back to a section of a level. You have to start the whole level over again. And I had to start this one level literally because I'm trying to get 100%. I had to start this level 10 times, and I'm like, I'm done with this game. Can they not change the button for this or give me an option? Something must be done about progress and saving progress and how to advance the game. It's so annoying, and I do it every time I play, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. Then I start over again, and then I do it again. I'm like, okay, I'm done again. And the cycle just repeats itself. But it is a great game. Just that one thing drives me. And it doesn't matter if I'm playing on a pro controller, where I just hit that R shoulder button accidentally, and my whole day is ruined.
Got to play on PC. That mouse click.
Yeah, iPhone, I don't have that issue either, but I did hit the proceed button once by accident, or I guess I didn't fully understand what it meant. And then I was like, why would you ever want to do this?
Yeah.
I was like,
Hot
I gotta do
tip.
this section over.
If you click you know how when you don't have 100%, there's like a thumbs down? If you click the thumbs down, it'll show you the people that are not unhappy. I don't know
Yeah.
if you
Yes,
figured
that is
one out.
the Y button
Okay.
on the Switch too.
Nice.
All right. I guess I'll mention briefly some library stuff I played very quickly.
Have to.
Let's start with Madden 26. Have you played it yet, Huck?
No, I have not. No.
No. First time I played a Madden game in a while. Started to do a season. Kind of the menus I thought were very unintuitive and annoying, and what's the word? Like dense and just poorly designed. Once I finally got into a game, it looked good, but basically felt like old Madden. And I was like throwing balls to receivers and they're dropping them for no reason and all these other things. I was getting frustrated, but you know, it was fun to dip my toes back in briefly. Don't think I'll be buying it or playing it anymore. Atomfall, which I also played for about half an hour and was liking the intro, like a different version of Fallout. And then once I got out into the open world, I'm like, the first enemy encounters, I'm like, I have no idea how I'm supposed to handle this. Or I hear them whistling, but I don't know where they are. The sound tracking isn't good. I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I think it should do a better job of teaching you how to play it rather than just expecting you to know from other games.
I think I got to that exact same spot in that game.
Yeah.
Then put it down.
I'm like, you know what? I got other stuff I can play. This is not doing the right work here. And then lastly, I'll say Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
Oh boy.
And, you know, I have to give this game credit and series. I fired it up, and again, it made me want to force feed the first game again. It looks so good. And the vibe is awesome. And I want to like this game so bad. And I'm just like, should I go back to the first one again? Should I try to do it again? I think the only way, and I'm not committing to anything yet. I have to stream the game, and I need people who love this game to tell me how to play. I feel like I'm missing things, I'm missing some of the hook that other people have.
That's like the real time strands happening, you know?
Yeah, like I need people to say like there's probably shortcuts or things that I'm not getting or I missed because there's so much information thrown at you. But again, I want to love this game, and I just got to a point where I'm like, okay, I want to force feed again, but I feel like I need to go back to the first one. So we'll see what happens there. That's a very big time commitment. Very big.
I must say, I'm jealous of your library because apparently people where you live don't know that the library exists and has games. For me, I'm looking at Death Stranding 2. 101 people have it on hold for 11 copies. So it is a hot commodity.
I did search for all of this stuff, possibly during the show or post show, when I found out a way to sort by find what's on order. So I put my name in for everything.
Attaboy. Yeah.
So,
Huck, a little pro tip: you still have PlayStation Plus Premium? Is that right?
Yes.
I believe there's a 5-hour trial of Death Stranding 2 on there.
Interesting. I should try to beat Death Stranding 1 first, I think, but
Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
On the beach.
And I do have to mention, I said it on Film Junk, but I walked by a fan expo, kind of the voice talent, performing talent for video games, and saw Nolan North.
Whoa.
And
Did you hug him?
I did not go anywhere near them. I just watched from afar, and I had to take in the essence of the man that is Troy Baker. Just,
do you know that there are right now molecules of air that pass through his body and are now in your body?
I know, and I feel blessed. I feel like part of his nature as a storyteller is rubbing off on me, and it was just amazing to be near him.
You shared airspace with him.
Yeah, he's so cool. He just looks so cool.
You know what? Another library thing, which I'm going to vent about. I just looked at Ghost of Yotei, and it's on order. I did my trick. There are already 99 people have this on hold. People are listening to the show in Mississauga, I think, and they are using the technique that I should never have talked about on the show.
You shouldn't have told them.
I will be buying Ghost of Yotei day one, but it is not available from my library yet. So
keep refreshing.
All right. Anyone else got stuff they played?
Yes.
I'll mention one quick thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just, keep it brief. But this random game popped up somewhere on social media. They're doing a playtest right now on Steam. It's called Raccoin, kind of like raccoon, but coin there.
I'm loving what I'm hearing.
And it's getting comparisons to Balatro. It's same publisher as Balatro, I think. So I think they're kind of trying to push it.
Oh my God, this looks amazing.
So it's like a coin pusher game. Now I've seen them around. I've never really played one. And I was like, okay, turning this into a roguelike could be cool. But I played a little bit of it and I could not wrap my head around it. Like it's weird because the only interaction you have is putting coins in from the left or right side, and you're trying to push coins down to the winning area or whatever you call it. But then there's just so many like badges and like special coins and all these things you're adding to your inventory. And I'm like, I don't understand what any of this does. The only thing I can do is put coins in left or right or a special coin from the center slot. I couldn't even really understand what, like, as with Balatro, you have like a score you're trying to hit with every run. And I would hit it and I would not even know what I did to get that score. So I don't know. It seems like it could be cool, but I just, my initial playing with this, I could not figure it out. So maybe somebody out there will enjoy it. Possibly Frank, I'm guessing. But
this looks awesome.
There is still a free play test going on right now that you can sign up for if you want to check it out.
I will not be doing that.
Not sure when it actually comes out. And I don't really understand what the difference between a play test and a demo is, to be honest, because a demo could be, you could pull it down when you're done, right? Like, I don't get it.
Same with the play test. I think it's just getting people to give their feedback and be aware of it.
Yeah.
And they're not committing to anything.
They could also be pulling a lot of analytics from the playtest that maybe a demo wouldn't have. Trying to see how many people quit after entering X number of coins.
Well, got some of my analytics. Hopefully they're going to iterate on that a bit.
Yeah. I could talk about a game Sean talked about last week. The Roottrees are dead. I made it much faster than the prologue, much further than the prologue, I should say. I beat the first whole run of the game, and then there's kind of like, I think it's probably was DLC at the time it came out. There's another kind of like mission that expands on the first part. So I beat the whole thing, solved the big puzzle, and I was so frustrated with myself. I got all the way to the end. I was getting all pissed off. I was like, I'm confident I got everything done. And I had two of the pictures swapped incorrectly of the people. So just a quick reminder, this is sort of like Return to the Obra Dinn meets Her Story. You're kind of like typing things into a computer to find out information about people, and then you're filling in a family tree of their picture, their name, and their occupation. And then once you find like 3 or later 4 correct ones, it'll lock them in and remove those as options for all the remaining slots. So you kind of have that like process of elimination thing near the end if you need it, or just more knowledge of what's remaining and like what to search for. So I really liked it. I thought also there is a hint system which I did use, which actually was great. So when you get stuck, you can ask for a hint essentially, and it gives you sort of like 5 like you click it, it gives you the first one. It's like, oh, look in this spot, because there's a lot of articles and a lot of information you could potentially search. So it just gives you a hint like, hey, look, check out this journal or this article or this piece of thing. It talks about this thing. And then it's just enough information to go and search and find what you're looking for, which I really appreciated. A lot of the times, I think some of the games do this better when you're like looking for certain information. Like if I want to know where I found out that like a person's name, or something like that. Sometimes you can like click the person's name, it'll show you every place that's referenced. That sort of system doesn't exist in this game. You'd have to literally like research everything you could think of and try to re-find how you made that connection originally. Like, let's say you found the name, found the picture, but didn't find the occupation, and then left and came back to that thread. You'd have to kind of like re-find everything, which is a little frustrating, but you know, I kind of understand it at the same time. But overall, I recommend it as well. Like Sean, if you like, you know, Her Story, Return to the Obra Dinn, little puzzle games like that, I recommend it. It's really fun. And, you know, just a nice kind of like deductive puzzle game. You do have to make some connections that are a little more abstract, that are really interesting to, once you figure them out, you get that little like, oh yeah, I did that kind of feeling.
How long did it take you to finish?
I think I did it in a 5 or 6 hours, something like that.
Okay.
And cool. That was my Steam time, and I did leave my Steam running for possibly an hour, so it might be an hour less than that. So we'll see, something around there.
Nice.
So 4 to 5 hours, let's say. I've got one other, well, I guess 2 more super quick things. I started playing Sea of Stars again because it's leaving Game Pass, and I saw it's no longer on PS Plus. So I really wanted to try to finish that. It leaves in 5 days as of right now. And I'm at a spot with a crazy difficulty spike. It's like some mansion, and I'm just coming back to it. I haven't played it in like a year, and I can see why I stopped here. So I was looking to see if I could adjust the difficulty level, and it looks like I can't. Maybe I can equip some stuff to reduce the difficulty, but I don't know. I don't want to like start again, but it's hard, and I don't think there's anywhere to really grind in that game, from what I remember. So
I mean, you don't level up that much in that game, so
I think I'm like level 8, so I don't even know how to really proceed to. I don't know. There's just like I guess I would just have to be a little more cautious and more healing, use more items, whatever. But man, there was one battle I think I did 5 times and kept dying at. That was pissing me off. And then I felt the peer pressure. I got Unicorn Overlord out of the library again. I bumped her down to story mode, and I beat the game. And let me tell you, even on story mode, that last boss took a few. I was able to beat it, but I had to use one of your like you've run out of time potions to keep the game running. So I beat it. It was fun. I liked the game. Definitely that last boss is kicking your ass. So don't be ashamed to put it down to story mode to get past it and watch the end. Also, there's so many characters in the game. The end credits take so long because they do a little like vignette of every single character of like where they're at after the story. And I was skipping most of the story for this game anyway, so I don't even care really that much about 90% of the characters. So there's a lot of long, boring, to me anyways, story at the end of the game, which I should have probably just skipped, but I sat through it as an honor badge that I beat the game.
You didn't watch it on 2 times speed on YouTube? Like, what's the deal there?
I should have done that. I should have done that, but it was kind of like the end credits.
This is your idea.
I like watching the end credits.
We wanted to savor the end credits.
Okay, just a thought. I didn't think about this before. I don't know if this would work or not. There is, I think, a 1 hour or 2 hour trial for Unicorn Overlord on PlayStation Plus. I wonder if you actually played the game and then engaged the trial, if it would allow you to play where you were for 2 hours.
I don't know. Maybe.
Because I think they're just timed demos. I don't know if it looks at you how much if the time you play the demo is separate from the time you've played it. Just a potential hack.
Yeah, I think it's also free on PS Plus now for us.
Oh,
high level.
Really? People. I don't think so.
No, maybe August 19th.
Yeah, I think it's on extra PS Plus.
Oh, okay.
You got to pay the big bucks, though, Frankie.
Yeah, I'm not doing that right now. Spend too much on concert merch. Anything else?
No.
All right. Well, it's great to be back. Great to be podcasting for very long tonight. That was a long episode.
Yeah, you guys marathon.
Next week, unless something crazy happens, I think it'll be Gamer Junk. And I'll probably have some thoughts on Gears of War, Shinobi, possibly Metal Gear Solid 3, Delta.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff coming out this week.
I'll be playing Gears and Shinobi. I'm undecided about Metal Gear still. Maybe.
All right. So thank you for listening or watching at youtube.com/GameJunk, where you can leave comments and Discord links are there. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.